Hello to all of our viewers, and welcome to a new season of VPC Live, Distance Learning Edition. I'm your host, Victoria Wolf Anderson, bringing you the most trending topics from the comfort of my own home. It's September 30th as of this being filmed, and let's get into today's topics. Within the first week of August, Dr. Sal revealed that all Danbury Public Schools would be switching to distance learning indefinitely, with further consideration in October, and also regarding cases and local Connecticut schools. So this explains why the setting of the VPC Live format has changed, just, slightly. Regardless, as this hectic year has required, DHS has adapted like VPC Live. Days have been shortened to span from 8 to 11:30 a.m. Wednesdays are now dedicated flex days, and Google Meet and Google Classroom are now our best friends. Yes, these are unfortunate circumstances, but Danbury Public Schools and Danbury as a whole are working hard to ensure that all students and families are accommodated for. For those who are not able to schedule an SAT, Danbury High School is offering a free SAT later this October, the one to make up for the missed March one. And seniors are the only ones who are allowed to take this SAT, so please check your email if you are a senior. For those who are on free and reduced lunch, breakfast and lunch are provided in a bag at DHS every school day. So please stop by there. It's completely free, and it offers you good nutrition if you are particularly food insecure. For those who feel ill and want to be tested, the city offers free COVID-19 testing at Rogers Park Middle School on most Saturdays. So it's probably responses like these to crises, and coupled with tremendous efforts to improve the quality of education and bridge achievement gaps, that allowed for one of Danbury Public Schools, South Street School in particular, to be one of the 367 schools nationwide to earn the National Blue Ribbon School distinction. And it isn't hard to see why. National Blue Ribbon schools are schools which are academically high-performing or high-performing in terms of closing achievement gaps, and South Street School fits both categories. Congratulations to Principal Dr. Carmen Vargas Guevara and the staff and students of South Street School. You guys earned it. Speaking of national level distinctions, one was earned by one of DHS's own students this weekend. I had the pleasure of interviewing senior Caleb Schlissel, who was named a National Merit Scholar semifinalist for the state of Connecticut. Let's go see what he has to say. Roll the interview.
So qualifying, I believe it's through taking the PSAT in junior year most of the time. And depending on the score you receive in comparison to most of the other scores received by students who took the test on the same date, if it's in a certain percentile, you're nominated to be a semifinalist. I was preparing mainly with a lot of study methods through books. I took a lot of practice tests just to get consistency. So, like during the school year or while you're learning concepts that are pertinent to the SAT or PSAT, I'd say make sure that you refresh yourself on the content that you've learned. Because I think a struggle area, which was a major one for me, was taking a look at SAT questions and just completely forgetting how to do basic algebra 1 or algebra 2 concepts because I'm not in those classes anymore. So that's definitely something that can trip you up, is just overthinking the easier questions or just forgetting how to do them. For English, I'd say a key thing is time management. Well, I want to go into engineering in school, in college. And I feel like you said, having this accolade of sorts, while I don't want it to seem conceited, is still beneficial as a form of recognition for applying to schools. So moving on, I think the main thing that I want to do in my academic career is apply the knowledge that I learned through high school or college to real human problems or things that are integral components of the human experience. The main application that I'm focusing on is stem cell research and how it could be used to potentially cure type 1 diabetes. I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at the age of 3, and so it's kind of a subject that's very close to me, and I think that if I can use what I learn and apply it to helping others, I think that is something that I would greatly enjoy.
Oh my God.
What really helped for me was being relaxed because I feel like taking standardized tests and just the college application process in general can be really stressful for a lot of people. So what helps is really getting your positive endorphins released in the morning of the test. Before you go to bed nice and early. You might be stressing about the test, so it will be a little hard to fall asleep. But when you wake up, do some light exercise to get your blood flowing, do some warm up problems just so that you're mentally ready to take the test, and try to laugh at something. For me, that came in the form of watching a funny video when I woke up, and just being able to laugh relaxed me naturally. Even though you're most likely going to be worried, I mean, I was really scared taking both the PSAT last year and the SAT. Be confident in your abilities because odds are you've been preparing for this test and you're gonna do great. On the topic of feedback on SATs, I'd agree that over time it's kind of lost its importance, especially in college applications, because you'll see that a lot of colleges out there start using this term holistic review. So they're looking just past not necessarily past, but they're not weighing test scores in academics with the same weight that they used to. So I'd say my advice to anyone taking the SAT would be it's not an end all be all. Your score does not define who you are.
In other news, fall sports are in season currently, despite the circumstances. Well, mostly. After weeks of oscillating between keeping and canceling a traditional fall football season, the SEAC finally decided to cancel 11 on 11 football on September 16th. This prompted a series of protest petitions and a meeting in which the SEAC stated it is now seriously considering spring sports to the criticism of traditional spring sports. So, on this and more as we transition into our VPC Game Time segment with Lucia O'Brien. Lucia?
Due to COVID-19, Danbury High School sports may look a little different this year. Our schedules are a bit shorter. Last week, our girls' soccer team and field hockey team were able to have scrimmages this week, Thursday. For field hockey, girls' soccer and girls' volleyball will be playing away at Staples at 4 o'clock. Friday, boys and girls cross country and football will be playing at home. Boys soccer will be playing away at Staples. Home sports may be broadcast here on Hatters TV. Tune in each week for updates on Hatter Sports.
If you're interested in hosting your own segment here at VPC Live, or simply are interested in filming, editing, and directing movies, YouTube videos, and more, be sure to join the Video Production Club. Here you get access to state-of-the-art equipment alongside a brand new studio so that you can express all of your creativity. Contact Mr. Miller to join. And as we wrap up our show today, I'd like to bestow you with a couple of reminders, given everything that's going on. If you are a senior, I know that you are in the middle of college application season. I sure am. I'd like to remind you that colleges are offering test optional applications this year, so you do not have to take the SAT, particularly because it might be a bit difficult given that we are in the middle of a pandemic. And if you qualify for free or reduced lunch, you also likely qualify for a waived college application fee. So that means you will not have to pay to apply to college, which is incredibly beneficial. So please take advantage of that opportunity. And if you are a student of any grade in the school, yesterday was the debate, so you know what I'm going to say. Please go out and vote, get your voices heard. The more voter turnout there is, the more likely we are to create a real difference in this country. Regardless of if it's Republican or Democrat, it's just important that everyone goes out and exercises their constitutional right to vote. Finally, wear a mask. Don't go to crowded parties. I see some of you guys on Snapchat. Please don't go to crowded parties. That is a super spreader. Social distance and stay safe overall. I'll see you all next week, so stay tuned in live for the not quite so live VPC Live. That didn't make any sense. Basically, come back next week. See you guys.